Steve, we more than deserved a point out of that game.
Well, I don't think they were better than us. I think, again, the big moments went against us. Both our decision making, our fault. I also thought, the decision on Cedric first half, that's where you're scratching your head. And that's, by the way, I'm not saying that's the reason we didn't win the game, but I'm saying that Scotty Barrow got sent off to Kings Lynn because his next action, the striker, was going to be to strike, to have a shot on goal. Cedric's next action was to pull the trigger on the edge of their box, by the way, a lot closer than the Kings Lynn player, and nothing happened. So, I don't know, I'm just so confused as to the consistency levels. And there was a lot going on the pitch, and that wasn't the only decision that had people scratching their heads. But that's a big moment in the game. But the other big moments in the game are ours. The big moments in the game are when we break the line and have a good chance to pick somebody out in the final third, especially in the first half. The reality is we should, not could, we should have been coming in with 2 or 3 goals. But we're still well in the game against a team who are, they're up and at it. They've come through the leagues. They've got a really good facility here. It's a good crowd. It's a good club. I've been here. But I did think at half time I thought we were in the ascendancy. But we didn't do enough second half. We just didn't do enough. We didn't create enough. But teams against us, when we get chances in the box, defending for their lives, and it's too easy to score against us at the moment. And players have to hold their hand up individually and collectively. They need to do better. They need to win their duels. They need to, it's not what we're about. It's not what we're about. Virtually the same set of players defensively as I've had since I got here, who are so resolute and strong when we needed to stay in this league. And last season, for long spells, we were one of the best defensive teams in the league. And I'm sick to death of teams coming off, and they're not patronising us because I know them, and the players coming off, and the players are saying, you're a really good side, but you'd be a really good side. But if you don't do the basics well, you give teams chances, and that's what happened again today. We just didn't do the basics well enough, and it's difficult to explain why, because the personnel is the personnel, so they can't do it, and it's not something that they're not capable of. And by the way, we defend as a team. Everything in the box, the balls that drop in the box, we defend as a team because there's midfielders in there, and the strikers in there, and set players. So, and that's where we are at the moment. Unfortunately, we've scored. We've scored every game. The part of it we needed to improve on, but along the way we've left the door open too many times, and there's some harsh words in there, but it needs to be said. But by the way, it is a tough place to come, and there'll be very good teams come here and not win. But we have to keep the faith. We have to keep believing that when we turn the corner on that side of things, that we'll go in the right direction. We'll play some really good stuff, and we create chances every single game now. And the travelling supporters, they'll be frustrated, but from what I saw when I went and clapped them at the end there, that they know the boys are putting a shift in. They know the boys. It's just mistakes and decision making, and unfortunately, I'd love to be able to make those decisions for them, but that's football, and we just need to improve on that. And I think we'll soon shift up the league. At 6 games in, we've got loads to play for, but lessons have to be learned today.
We recovered ever so well, didn't we? Because they blitzed us early on, scored one, maybe could have had a penalty. But when we scored ourselves to 1-1, we got more into the game. The lads were snapping into the tackles and not allowing them to play it. But we seem to lose that part of our play in the last 20 minutes to link in what you just said there.
It's tough. We're in a situation where you lose Scotty, and it's the first game Paddy's come back, and the intensity probably second half wasn't as high, but then they weren't really causing us many problems. How many saves did Pete have to make really? We created more chances than them second half, but blocks, working the keeper, and that's what that's how the second half panned out. It's a great goal, a great cross from Eds, and a great header from Jack. And we felt in the first half that probably that's where we missed a chance to get ourselves in that lead, and then maybe play a little bit differently second half to hold on to it, because we did have options. But the minute sort of Elliott goes off, and then you give your Ty's debut in a difficult situation, and then Platty comes off, and then so you're losing sort of a defensive midfielder. It's difficult, but the goals weren't anything to do with systems. It was individual personnel not taking responsibility in the box.
Charlie Lennon came into the club yesterday. What are you expecting to see from him? We saw a cameo appearance there, but obviously you've not seen him for a lot longer.
Yeah, he's an out-and-out winger, which is something we've got really good front men. Aidan, Cedric, Jack, and they're all proved in the summer that they can be really good together. But you need different options. You need dribblers at times, and Charlie's a little bit more of an out-and-out dribbler as Dan Hopper is. But I just think Charlie's slightly different, maybe slightly sort of ahead in his development. So it was a really good option for us. In the end, I thought when he got the ball, he looked composed and he could try to do the right things. But as I say, they seem to be defensively in the right areas at the right times. And as I say, we for the most part were, but that it's got to be for 98 minutes. And if you knock off for 2-3 minutes, or drift or make a bad decision with the defender, you want to be one stuff. That's what happens, and unfortunately there's been too many of those this season so far. We're just going to have to keep working on it. That's all we can do. We won't see them again until the game Tuesday. It's really difficult. We can't get work into them on a Monday like some teams can. We can't go through it with them. So it is what it is. I'm no way complaining because this is the situation since I've been here, and we've been capable of going on runs, been capable of putting fantastic performances, solid 90-minute performances. That's just what we have to strive towards doing on Tuesday.